Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 29th June 2023. My name is TSV Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube, hariboltrsvnectar, nectar, nectar. In this particular vlog, in all my previous videos, we have been discussing about the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video in the blog is no exception to that rule. In fact, it is a mere continuation of what we have been doing in all my previous videos. So let us talk about this video in this vlog. But before that, I would like you to kindly subscribe to this vlog and press the bell icon so that I may keep reminding you of my other videos. So let us continue in this particular video about the topic of today. For the past few videos, we have been talking about the theory of karma and its various categories in the life of a human living entity in a birth. These categories are as follows. First is called Sanchit Karma. Sanchit Karma is the storage of all unworked karma of a particular soul or living entity in all its births till date. Second is called Prarabdha Karma. Prarabdha Karma is just a slice of Sanchit Karma brought by a living entity in a particular birth to be worked out in that particular birth. Third is called Kriyamana Karma. Destiny and the Supreme Personality of Godhead has given what is known as free will to every human living entity, whether male or female. This particular living entity can, in a particular birth, do some karma on his or her own free will. This is known as Kriyamana Karma. The living entity is already equipped with his or her prarabdha karma, but kriyamana karma is free will karma of the same living entity in a particular birth. Now, they work out all this prarabdha and kriyamana karma in a particular birth, thus negating every part of these two slices karma. However, some karma of the prarabdha karma and some karma of the Kriyamana karma may be left unworked at the end of the birth of a human living entity, whether male or female. In such a case, a residue of this combination of unworked karma from the Prarabdha category and the Kriyamana category is joined together and is called as Agami karma or future karma. This combination of residue is again pasted with the already existing sanchit karma of that living entity. In his or her next birth, when the living entity selects a slice of his or her sanchit karma as prarabdha karma for that particular birth, that slice may or may not include the unworked karma of the previous prarabdha or kriyamana karma. Thus, life goes on and on, birth after birth, death after death for every living human entity. In this case, we have discussed about several case history to authenticate this particular theory. We have discussed about politicians, actors, criminals, etc. And today we shall discuss about another case history which will help us understand the theory of karma better. So let us continue for today. There is a village called Marudu in the state of Kerala in India. In this particular township or village, there lived one person called Marudur Gopalakrishna Menon. This guy was a practicing advocate or lawyer. One day, this guy had some misunderstanding with the powers that be in that particular locality. This Mr. Marudur Gopalakrishna Menon rebelled against them and decided to quit that township in Kerala for good. He and his family relocated to a place called Kandy in Ceylon, which is now a Sri Lankan adjacent country. There he set up his practice as an advocate. This Mr. Marudur Gopal Krishna Menon had a wife, a daughter, and a son called Chakrapani. On January 17th, 1917, his youngest and second boy was born in Kandy, Sri Lanka. This boy was christened Ramachandran. Thus, this boy became Marudur Gopalakrishna Ramachandra Menon, who was in short called as MGR. Little did anyone know then that this innocent young boy will become a living legend and icon in another state in India in future. Nobody knew this. This boy came with a slice of his sanchit karma called prarabdha karma, and this prarabdha karma made him, despite being a Malayali from Kerala, born in Kandy in Ceylon, which is today Sri Lanka. Anyway, unfortunately for the boy, when he was 1 or 2, Marudur Gopalakrishna Menon, the father, expired. This boy and his family was left high and dry in this province of Kandy in Ceylon. His mother had one brother who was a businessman or a hotelier in a town called Kumbhakonam in what is known as Tamil Nadu today in India. This poor lady had no other go but to take her family to her brother in Kumbhakonam. There she began helping her brother run the hotel. The 3 kids began getting educated in an alien language. They were Malayalis or born Malayalis who were initially brought up in Sri Lanka where Sinhalese is spoken, but where there is a large diaspora of Tamil community, and now they had to learn this alien language called Tamil. The elder son, Chakrapani, who was 4 years older than the youngest son, Ramachandran, was extremely intelligent and slightly talented also. He joined a drama group to make both ends meet. He made some money which he contributed to the family's finances. When this boy Ramachandran was born, or when he was 10 years old, this elder brother Chakrapani introduced him to the drama group. We may know by now that this was all written in the prarabdha karma of this young boy called Ramachandra. Being born in Kandy or being brought up in Tamil Nadu or joining the drama group was not his own fault. It was his old karma and destiny, and so we cannot say that all this was engineered by this poor boy of 10. Anyway, this boy joined the drama group as an odd job boy. After being here for some time, he began getting some tiny roles as a junior artist in the drama group. This was also his prarabdha karma. Nobody can blame him for what was happening. Yet, it is well known that this boy, even at this age, promised something very different from ordinary human living entities. He was extraordinarily intelligent and empathetic, so much so that even at that age, people looked up at him for help, which this boy never hesitated to do. After acting as a junior artist in the drama group, this boy began acting as a small role player or small character roles in the dramas of that troupe. Meanwhile, his Kriyamana karma began germinating. This boy was extremely conscious of his looks and build. He became something of a bodybuilder and started building a physique which looked quite attractive even at that age. However, there was a long struggle ahead for this boy. Meanwhile, this boy, when he was around say 16 or 17, joined another young boy called Somasundaram alias Karunanidhi, and the two became roommates in one small shack in Kumbakonam. This Somasundaram alias Karunanidhi would later become the chief minister of Tamil Nadu in the DMK political party. But now, in their early 20s, the boy Karunanidhi joined a group called DK or Dravida Kazhagam, which would have a breakaway political party called DMK later on. However, now, as things were, this boy, Karunanidhi, was extremely erudite, intelligent, and creative by nature. He was a fantastic dialogue writer. He joined the rising film industry in Tamil Nadu and they all relocated to a city called Madras, which is today Chennai and is the capital of Tamil Nadu. Here, Karunanidhi established himself as a dialogue writer. He was intelligent and resourceful enough to get small roles for MGR or Ramachandran, the boy who had come here from Kanli to Kumbakonam and then to Madras. Ramachandran became an actor by default and not by design. He did not know anything about this line, but probably it was his prarabdha karma that made this boy an actor. His prarabdha karma took the front seat in the life of Ramachandran for, lo and behold, 40 years. For 40 years, this boy's third category of karma, called Kriyamana karma, which is based on free will of a human living entity, could not work out. However, at the age of 40, this guy became a main lead in a tiny film. Before that, he was only doing some character roles. Now, this Ramachandran, who began getting famous as MGR, became a hero in a film and started gaining in popularity. The finances of both Karunanidhi and MGR improved, and they also had a side political career which helped them in the film industry. After some time, MGR became not only a lead actor but also a producer. Slowly, he began making more money than he had ever thought he will. In fact, he became richer than that Karunanidhi. Meanwhile, Karunanidhi became the chief minister of Tamil Nadu in the year 1967. MG Ramachandran was recommended by Karunanidhi's mentor to join the political party on behalf of the party and to help Karunanidhi. MGR agreed. He was happy to be on the side of his own friend. However, after some time, this very MGR found to his dismay that this very close friend and roommate was far more avaricious than he was ever expected to be. What was the reason MGR could never know, but he found that this boy was misappropriating the party funds. There was a tiff between Karunanidhi and MGR, and MGR started another political party which was a breakaway from the original DMK. This breakaway party was called All India Anna DMK or Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. It was rather surprising that this breakaway party stood in the next elections and defeated its own mother party in the elections. The people by now had almost begun worshipping MG Ramachandran, who was so empathetic, kind, and generous that even women considered him their own son. MGR was extremely nice and kind. He gave away millions to people who were needy of money for survival. MGR not only made money hand over fist, but he was generous enough to share it with others. He was so good that when he surprisingly and unexpectedly became Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, he started the midday meal scheme for the sake of children who were going to school in Tamil Nadu. All this was now his Kriyamana Karma or his free will. Yes, Prarabdha Karma laid the foundation for these deeds, but his deeds henceforth, after becoming a success as an actor, producer, and chief minister, were all Kriyamana Karma. A boy who was born to a middle class lawyer and who was brought up as an orphan in Kumbakonam in Tamil Nadu had come a long way. Little would his own father have known that this son of his would become a living legend and an icon. MGR remained chief minister for years in Tamil Nadu. However, he contracted several ailments and died at the age of 70, largely mourned by the whole world and India and Tamil Nadu. So much so that this MGR gets credit for two different achievements. One is he won an election in Tamil Nadu, India, while he himself was in a hospital in New York, America. MGR never addressed any public meeting, but his own taped voice was played for the public to listen to and to remember that he was alive. The public was so affectionate and loving and worshipping to MGR that it voted for him. Similarly, MGR is the first chief minister in India whose death was mourned nationally, and that day there was a national holiday in all the government institutions. He was the only chief minister who enjoyed this iconic status. MGR died in the year 1988 or 87, but he is still remembered in Tamil Nadu like as something of a demigod. This was a long way from where he was born, in which surrounding he was born, and what he ultimately achieved. His prarabdha karma made him being born a Malayali in Kandy in Ceylon. It made him being brought up in Tamil Nadu where Tamil was spoken. He became an actor thanks to his prarabdha karma. He even became a hero because of his prarabdha karma. But then, once he landed in leading roles in film industry, his kriyamana karma or free will slowly took over. MGR's free will was so excellent, sacrosanct, and beautiful and empathetic that he became something of a legend even in one lifetime. He could have lived as a happy actor thanks to his prarabdha karma, but because of his kriyamana karma, he not only became a superstar in the film industry, but he also became Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. So much so that though he did not know Hindi, he was extremely friendly with the then Prime Minister of India, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. He may not have had a formal education, but he was extremely worldly wise and street smart and intelligent. Not only that, he was quite influential, and the public of Tamil Nadu literally worshipped him. We must take a leaf out of the life of such great men. They show us the path to achieve the impossible and to reach dizzy heights, both materially and spiritually. There are several who attain such dizzy heights in the materialistic world, but we must be interested in those who were born very ordinary like us, thanks to their individual prarabdha karma, but who, because of a combination of their prarabdha karma and kriyamana karma, achieved the impossible in one lifetime. This helps because the kriyamana karma of that living entity in this particular birth is drastically different both materialistically and spiritually, and the onward karma from his or her kriyamana karma is added to his or her already existing sanchit karma. That shows that the next birth for this particular living entity would certainly be far better than it was in this particular birth. This is possible only when this living entity thinks positive and acts positive. We must always try to make our lives a success by using our own kriyamana karma as positively as possible, and we should always aim at not just material success but also spiritual success. I would like to repeat the oft said statement: all the monks, renunciants, sannyasis, saints, rishis, maharishis, godmen, etc., were once as ordinary as we are. They were also ordinary people subjected to the complications of material life, yet they won over their own circumstances thanks to their kriyamana karma and came out in leaps and bounds and became an icon in their own right. This is one thing that we should always aim at. This will help us get self realized, liberated, and help us ultimately go back to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That will make our life a legendary success. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this matter. Please give me your own expert thoughts, opinions, ideas, and views so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, let me remind you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.